Hey everyone, it's the Princess of Pro Wrestling, SoCal. You are listening to the Game Changer Podcast. Sending lots of love from California.
This is your pool party captain, Randy Fitzsimmons, and you're listening to the Game Changer Podcast.
All the glory and the fame, jet setting in my own plane. I'm gonna be a champion. Silhouettes in the spotlight, cash falling from the sky. Yeah, I'm gonna be a champion. All it takes is one night for me to turn around my whole life.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the Wrestle Addict Radio Network.
Hey, what's up, you guys?
What is going on, everybody?
What up, fam? Hey, it's me.
What up, Oozes?
What's up, guys? This is the Monday Night Delight.
Are you looking for a network that brings you all things pro wrestling? Then look no further. Wrestle Addict Radio brings you a varied source of wrestling content.
What's going on, guys? This is Willie T.
My name is Mr. Fretz.
This is your resident Smart Slayer.
Search for Wrestle Addict Radio on all major podcast platforms and be sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode.
Buzz, guys. My name is Kate Murphy of the Kings of the Ring podcast, and you are listening.
And you're listening. And you're listening.
And you are listening.
And you are listening.
Get ready for a war, because you're listening.
Come join the war each and every week as we fight to keep wrestling real.
What's up, everybody? This is King Ricky Rose, and you are listening to Wrestle Addict Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Coda Jacobs, the Crusader and visionary behind a brighter future in wrestling. If you're an honorable and noble public servant like myself, you are listening to the Game Changer Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us celebrate. Let us bask in the glory that is Chad Gable, who had a huge night last night. We'll get into why it was in just a bit, you guys. Welcome to the Game Changer Podcast as part of Wrestle Addict Radio, who you can check out at addict_wrestle. Guys, it is going to be the build-up to the Clash of Champions event happening today. It's going to be this Sunday of when we're recording this, but we have quite a bit to talk about, including the Kings of the Rings, a lot of the build-up going into matches, as well as, we have a game-changing signing as far as NXT goes. You definitely do not want to miss out on this. I am NateFNGreat. I am indeed the greatest man that ever lived. Yes, I am taking Austin Aries' gimmick, and I don't care. Screw you, Aries. And I am being joined here by the greatest Canadian that ever lived, your favorite Canadian and mine, the man of so much great opportunistic endeavors. Ladies and gentlemen, this is indeed the one and only Mr. Fretz.
That was quite the intro. Maybe I could be somewhere in the top 50 for Canadians, but I'll take that moniker. Yes, it is me, the Prime Minister of Wrestle Addict Radio. I almost didn't get that out because I am friggin' exhausted. Night shift, folks. Woo! The Night Shift King is here, and I just want to do a quick thank you to people who have been listening to the Fretzelmania podcast. In 9 months, I just reached just over 1,000 listens, and I didn't think that were possible. I got to give major ups to this is someone that I'm not plugging through Wrestle Addict Radio, but through my personal feed, Podcoin. If you want to learn about them, hit me up.
All right, awesome. And guys, we also will be continuing, actually we're going to be really starting now, the hashtag ProTalkWrestling tweet. We'll be shouting out a couple people that have been using the tweet as of late, so definitely tune in to that as well. All right, Mr. Fretz, let's talk about some of the things that are going on in the world of the WWE. Damn. Oh, man, I'm going to tell you this right now. I've seen a couple of these random videos in which they've been talking about the 1995 King of the Ring, which,
I just watched that.
One of the worst pay-per-views of all time, ever. Just don't watch it. All we have to say is King Mabel. That's it. No. Just no. Just no. Just literally, there's just going to be a picture on social media where it's just going to be me and Fretz just doing a giant middle finger. That's going to show our reaction to just what King of the Ring 95 was. But as far as this week, have we reached some points of just literal F-uery? Honestly, some points, yes. Other points, no. Both Raw and SmackDown took place at Madison Square Garden this past week, and some of our good friends at WrestleAddict Radio, as well as our favorite Demon Diva, Issa, was there in attendance during that deal. Oh, boy, howdy. I can tell you this right now. Was this a good were these good shows? I think SmackDown, once again, proving that it is the superior brand. But Raw does have a small advantage. Here's the reason. Well, actually, two advantages. One being Stone Cold Steve Austin was on the show, and number two was that great tag team women's match that we had with Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch defeated Sasha Banks and Bayley. Oh, that matchup was beautiful. I will say this, if we can get another rematch of the women's four-way in the very near future, I would be okay with it. I want this so much. I'm hoping that is the build-up we get for Survivor Series. Oh, please, just wrestling. If you give me this one thing, I will not complain about anything for about a week. I will take everything. Just let us have the four-way match of Survivor Series. Life will be good.
I'll hold you to that.
Oh my gosh. I don't want you to hold me to it, but unfortunately, my word is my vow sometimes. But yeah, honestly, that tag team match was great. It saw Charlotte picking up the victory on Bayley, which probably means that Bayley is walking out with the title on Sunday, maybe. Who knows at this point. There's a lot of different deals that we can go into this. Actually, let's talk about both women's titles matches, because we'll definitely go into predictions a little later on during the show. But the women's title matches are really some of the more highly anticipated matches on here, because you have Bayley versus Charlotte and Sasha versus Becky. Both of these matches have definitely headlined, takeovers, NXT events, stuff like that. So this is one of the first few times we're actually seeing them being put on major shows. Although for Charlotte and Bayley, I should actually correct myself. We did get that match at Fastlane, but that Fastlane event was rough, because we saw Goldberg defeat Kevin Owens in a matter of seconds. Sometimes you hate wrestling. Just, oh boy.
I almost got up and left after that, man. Oh.
Hey, how do you think I felt? That happened in Milwaukee. That was in my home state when that took place, so that was like rubbing salt in the wound for me. But we're not talking about Fastlane. We're talking about the women's matches here. Both have been built pretty well. If we take out the whole, Sasha and Bayley burying the women's division, them taking a little dig at the Jim Neidhart deal, as well as Bayley's heel turn, which has still been really, really stupid. Other than that, these build-ups have been really good.
Now, I'm liking the whole build-up to it, and I like that, as I said last week, how Bayley still has her big hugger theme and her wacky and wavable inflatable flailing arm tube men. She's really leading into this whole thing, just like Sami Zayn, like I said, and it's gonna have I think it's gonna have a payoff. It's gonna be gradual. I don't see her coming out as all dark and gothy. I can still see her keeping some kind of rendition of this and just being a total bitch, and I'm liking that. As for Becky and Sasha, I hate myself for saying this, but it's boss time.
Well, it sounds like you got an early prediction going on.
Yeah, well, that's, we're not in the predictions yet, but I am, just Sasha being back is just perfect, and everything about her, from the blue down, I'm sorry, every time that collar comes up, that damn song comes out of my mouth. And folks, don't ever listen to that song, because, like the theme to DuckTales, it'll never leave your head.
Oh, my God.
My goodness. And she is thrust right back into the title scene. I kind of like the whole, hey, the Boston Hugs look like they're back, and I wouldn't mind if they took all of the women's titles, including the one that, is not getting a lot of airtime, but is getting a title match themselves. So, it's time for the four horsewomen to really carry the torch here, and, Ronnie is, nursing a Don't look at Ronda Rousey's injury if you haven't seen it, folks. No. It's one of the most disgusting things I think I've ever seen. And you're talking to a guy who's had metal fused to his spine and decided to see what that surgery looks like before he went and had it done. Don't Google that either. My goodness. Or like Ciampa's 24/7 special. It looked like that. But on the whole back. Oh boy. Yeah, this is getting pretty gnarly here, so I'm going to steer this train right down a different rabbit trail, and I don't know where this rabbit trail is going to end up, so take the torch for a second.
for some reason, as soon as you said rabbit trail, all I thought to myself was the Rabbit Tribe from Lucha Underground. Oh my gosh, where the Rabbit Tribe gave us the gift of Killer Kross, man. Just Killer Kross is amazing. Bottom line, we could go on and talk about how Killer Kross has been revolutionizing the business. And I've told him on 2 occasions this year when I've met him, I said, "Dude, you're going to be a future world champion someday." And I legitimately believe that, and I am going to be one of those people that takes that to my grave. He is going to be a future world champion at a huge, promotion, whether it's New Japan, Impact, whether it might be. It's one of those things where it's going to happen. Let's actually talk a little bit about Killer Kross, because here's the thing about this. He has not actually been on Impact Television for quite a while, and it does have to do with the fact that there's some kind of sour grapes going on between him as well as Impact, where apparently Kross does want out of his contract, but apparently they want to keep him in. It's one of those situations that WWE has been doing too with Luke Harper, where it's like they want to keep him, they want to keep him in, and I think that there's also an option that Impact can have to have him extend his contract all the way till even past 2020 at this point. So he is in a bind right now, and literally it sucks because this is a guy who could do so much on the independent scenes. There's so many matches that he could be doing, but he's off TV. He's literally doing nothing right now, and it's hurting him. It really is. It's one of those situations where you just see this, and it is the same way with Luke Harper, where it's like, you could have a huge star here. You could have him still wrestle. Hell, if they wanted to, and if they don't have any, if they have issues with them, have him just lose. That's all you have to do. To have him, fulfill the terms of the contract, and then boom, let him go. It's kind of one of those things that Jason Solomonster from the Solomonster Sounds Off said, was that you either use them or you lose them. That's the way you do it. If you are just holding people there hostage, then it's going to look really bad on you as a company. And that's what's going on with WWE. That's what's going on in Impact Wrestling. And I hate to see that. It's just really one of those things that makes me hate certain, promotions. Because it's like, yeah, I get it. You want to keep this guy. But are you using him? No, we're just going to have him sit out for a while. Why? Makes no sense whatsoever unless you have a decent reason as to why. If he's sitting out because of injuries, that's fine. You have nothing for creative? Hey, give him something to do. Just don't have him sit around doing nothing. It's stupid.
Stupid. I can't tell you the last time I saw Killer Kross because, before I went on night shifts in about April, I was almost regularly watching Impact on Twitch every Friday night because I would have been off work by the time it starts airing. And I was liking what I was seeing out of Killer Kross. I think he was in when I saw him last, he was in a world title feud with Johnny Impact. Mm-hmm. That's one guy I call the modern day Randy the Ram. My goodness, I must have just got into Impact and I saw why is he champion? Why is Johnny Impact? Anyways, this is not turning into him, but yeah, Killer Kross was just more I saw out of him, like the more I liked, and especially that 6 Saito suplex he does as a finisher. Like only a guy like him, and maybe people like Kenta and some other Japanese wrestlers can make a basic back suplex look like the Canadian Destroyer or the Burning Hammer, make it look like death. And I would love to. This is just me selfishly. I would kind of like to see him in NXT. Get him get him in UK. Get him in a match with Dijakovic, Cesaro, Keith Lee. Who is that guy that wrestled Cesaro at Cardiff?
I'll pull it up right now. I will literally pull that up right now to see who it is. Because
I think he's not Russian, but he's supposed to be kind of like a modern day, kind of like a Ivan Drago with like the big scary eyes, and it's left my head. I'm really gonna shoot myself in the foot, literally here, for not knowing that. Riddle. Oh my goodness, Riddle. Oh, I gotta say something. Progress this Sunday has Keith Lee and Matt Riddle going up against Mustache Mountain.
Ooh, nice. Oh, also the man that you were talking about was Ilja Dragunov.
Dragunov, yes. A lot of people are saying that this could be the guy that unseats Walter as the UK champion, but I want to see Walter break Bruno Sammartino's record. I want to see this man be the champ until the end of time. You know, like how I want to see MJF be AEW champion forever. Walter, I want him to be only UK champion from now on. Like, he should never be him.
Wow. All right.
And I'm just saying that because I'm a giant fan of Walter, and only a very, very recent one. So wrestled PCO last year, and I think it was one of the most hard-hitting matches I think I've seen in a long time. If you look at that match, look at both their chests at the end of it. It looked like rotten meat.
Wow, man. I think I can only just imagine. That's all I need to know. So I will say this. We'll definitely have to talk about this because the King of the Ring tournament is definitely shaping up. We have the final matchup here in which we have Baron Corbin versus Chad Gable. I'm looking forward to this matchup. I think that how they had Corbin win the King of the Ring, triple threat matchup, semifinals between him and Samoa Joe and Ricochet. I think they did that well. I think they definitely did have Baron Corbin be like the slimy, sneezy little heel that snakes his way into the finals. That makes sense. So I'm at the point now where I would be fine with Baron Corbin winning King of the Ring just because it would create the kind of heat that WWE definitely needs on a major heel. The Chad Gable deal, oh my god, this was awesome. So we were supposed to get Chad Gable versus Elias this past Tuesday on SmackDown, but unfortunately Elias suffered an apparent broken ankle injury, which I never really even knew about until I think until it was maybe Tuesday that they made that announcement. So Shane McMahon says, well, I'm going to have to find you a replacement. And to nobody's surprise, it turns out that Shane McMahon picks Shane McMahon as a replacement. And already we're thinking, oh, God, no. Just bad mojo is just happening right now. Just no. We don't want this. But we seemed like we had a nice little, bright light in this, dark cloud, but it had a silver lining with Kevin Owens made as the special guest referee. Trust me, we're going to be talking about that a lot. So, we first have Chad Gable. He actually pins Shane McMahon after, I think it was like a couple minutes. It wasn't even that long of a matchup. And Kevin Owens did like a quick little fast count. That's fine. And I was thinking, oh wow, that's it. Okay, that's how it's going to be. Then Shane McMahon decides, no, it's a 2 out of 3 falls matchup. It's like, oh, so they're basically saying, hey, Raw can do a triple threat match. We're going to do a 2 out of 3 falls matchup. Great. This week is all about the threes. Love it. Here's where it gets to be better. Shane McMahon decides to beat down on Chad Gable. He doesn't get a fall. He tries pinning. He tries submission. Nope, nothing. Kevin Owens does a couple fast counts, stuff like that. He doesn't count for Chad Gable. And you just see Kevin Owens literally just I don't want to do this because if I give Shane McMahon the victory, yeah, I'll lose that $100,000 fine. But fuck, we have to deal with that shit. And in the end, we see this was actually a really, really great moment. So Shane McMahon comes in with the steel chair, and he's thinking I'm going to bash him. Kevin Owens no, you're not going to bash him with the steel chair. You're not going to do this. And Shane McMahon's thinking oh, Kevin Owens is playing I'll let you take care of the chair, and I'll give him a low blow. So he gives Kevin Owens the chair. Kevin Owens is back turned. Shane McMahon goes for the low blow. Chad Gable just grabs him by the leg, and it's dude, no, not happening. Chad Gable locks in the ankle lock. Yes, he is Kurt Angle's son. I don't care what the storyline is. Chad Gable is Kurt Angle Jr. We see him. He gets the ankle lock in. He does the grapevine, to which we're oh, no way, Shane is not tapping out. Shane taps. Kevin Owens calls for the bell. 2 straight falls. Chad Gable beat the best in the world, quote-unquote, major quote-unquote, in Shane McMahon. 2 straight falls. Chad Gable is everybody's spirit animal at this point. Oh my God, was I just a happy boy. I was yes! Chad Gable and Baron Corbin, I'm okay with this. I am totally fine with this. And the fact that Chad Gable won with the ankle lock, that is amazing. That is awesome. After the match was over, Shane McMahon attacked Kevin Owens and just said, "You're fired. You hear that? You're fired. You're fired. You're fired." It's wow. Never would I think that those 2 words would be annoying. But Shane McMahon, bravo. You've taken 2 words that your father made famous and made them annoying. Just shut up. So Kevin Owens is fired from SmackDown. Probably going to be taking time off until we think probably Hell in the Cell. And then we're going to get Shane McMahon versus Kevin Owens, Hell in the Cell again, in which we'll probably see Shane McMahon die. Which I'm okay with. I'm literally okay with if that's the final result. Just see Kevin Owens just do a stunner, stun Shane off the top of the cell into an announce table. Okay, this is fantasy death booking for me now. I should probably stop. I'm going to just put that to the side.
This is 2K20 booking going here, man.
Yes! I love it! Oh my gosh. Also, cheap plug, 2K20 looks amazing. And it's coming out next month. So, anyway. Pre-order, baby. Anyway, so I gotta ask you, Mr. Fretz, your thoughts on these King of the Ring matches as well as the firing of Kevin Owens.
Just a second here. I will vamp a little bit while this loads. What did I say?
You said.
What did I say?
You said Baron Corbin was going to make it.
King Corbin. And I want this. I love Chad Gable. But the King of the Ring is made for a heel. And yes, even if your name is King Mabel. If you want to know what I think about that, check out on my blog where I rebooked the entire year of 1995. That one was fun. That one was actually really, really fun to rebook. And allegedly this match might not be taking place on Clash of Champions. I'm okay with it because this is a nothing tournament with no stakes. I mean, are either of these guys going to get a shot at the title? Spoiler alert, The Fiend is the number 1 contender right now. Well, number 2 technically, but yeah, I mean, it's just watching Twitter react to this is so funny. It's Corbin, it's going to cause low ratings if Corbin wins. What if he wins a tournament with no stakes? He's going to wear a crown, maybe get a shot at the U.S. title, and then he'll be back to being heavy metal Baron Corbin by WrestleMania. So, yeah, and this tournament kind of came out of nowhere, and one thing I like about Baron right now is that he doesn't have the X-Pac heat anymore. He has actual, genuine crowd heat. And I think some of the fans in New York were actually chanting for Corbin during that match. I didn't see it, but it was... from what I hear, I think it was, I was listening to the Wrestle Talk, and they were talking about that, so it's really cool. And Kevin Owens here, as soon as he was kind of struggling with himself, I actually, of all things, folks, I pulled off a Bible verse here. Yeah, the former youth pastor intern is gonna get a little preaching in here for you. But Kevin was like, he was trying to screw over Chad Gable, and he was like, oh, it looks like he was going to sell his soul. And, of course, that reminds me of Matthew 16:26. What good will it be for a man to gain the whole world but forfeit his soul? So he gets rid of this fine, and yet he is, like, going to be Shane's bitch. And if this was the whole point of this storyline, then why didn't Shane win at SummerSlam? Why is this feud still going on? I mean, I don't want to see a Hell in the Cell match with them. I don't, because we already did, and Shane McMahon, used up one of his 9 lives. So,
but I want his 9th life to be off the cell. I want that.
Yeah, dude, he's like 50. He can't even take himself. I mean, geez, okay, I was going to get really dark. I'm like, wait, how old are his kids?
Not that old, sadly.
No, and it's like, well, no, let's see. I think his first kid was born just before WrestleMania 20. Okay, stop, James, stop.
Wow.
Yeah, speaking of which, both of his kids, like, there's one kid who is the image of Vince McMahon. Like, there was a picture of them, actually, of all places, at the White House with the president. And the one kid, I'm like, wow, you're Vince. You're like Vince from the 70s, like, to a T. That, my dad says, happy belated birthday, Dad, that I'm a spitting image of his dad, my grandpa, who, well, he's been passed away since I was 9. So that was almost 30 years now. So, yeah, you got Corbin, Shane and KO. I think Shane and KO, like, I heard a few different theories. Of course, KO, like, tweeted something out, these 3 numbers. It was like 24, 20, something. And the nerd in me looked at that and said, okay, what letter? The NXT. And what's going live next week on the USA Network, but not on Sportsnet in Canada, apparently?
NXT.
Yes. Imagine if he shows up in Full Sail next week. Oh, that's a demotion. He's getting buried. No. NXT is going to get name recognition if you get a guy like KO down there. Oh, and imagine, okay, Undisputed Era. He's like, hey, let's welcome this new member. Let's welcome this person. Let's welcome KO. And then they oust Adam Cole, turn on him. KO is the new leader, like CM Punk as the new leader of the Nexus. We get a title feud going into War Games.
That would be absolutely spectacular. And I want to say this is going to be going into like our Pro Talk Wrestling tweets. This one was done in August, but I really think that right now it's at that point where it is just absolutely beautiful. This is actually coming from our buddy Wade. You can check him out on Twitter at Wade, lowercase I, capital L, son, who has 2 really great tweets. First one is, welcome to medieval times, I'll be your wench Baron, where literally it's just Baron Corbin with the crown on his head. And then there's the second one, which literally says, also, if Baron Corbin wins King of the Ring, just find a crying baby mask and stick a crown on it, and it's the exact same shit. Prove me wrong. Wait. You gotta
Wade cares.
Hashtag Wade cares about Corbin as the king.
And big shout out to he has a podcast as well, Big Heckin' Wade Adventures. I'm sorry, Wade, I haven't gotten into some of them yet, but I hear a lot of good things because it's along the same lines as the Rant and the Mighty CN. So you got to give big ups to him there. So cheap plug for Wade. That's good. And that actually, because you were at Medieval Times around that time. if I'm not mistaken.
That is true. That is very true. I do recall that now. So it is kind of one of those things. It's like maybe Wade knew that I was on, where I was in freaking Medieval Times. Maybe that's where he got the inspiration. But then again, Medieval Times is a very popular deal, so it's
we have it up here too.
Yeah. Oh gosh. So I'm going to say this right now to get a little off topic. Be sure to also use the hashtag Wrestling Renaissance if you want to interact with myself at SoCalVal, because literally we need this right now, because the last one before our hashtags are out there actually came from Dixie Carter, to which she says, yep, she has the tweet on August 20th of this year. Competition is great. It makes everyone work harder, be better. It's not only great for those who earn a living, it's even better for the fans. Cheers to competition. Hashtag bring it on. Hashtag Wrestling Renaissance. Again, just what the fuck? What the hell? I literally just got a YouTube notification from What Culture Wrestling, where it has like rumor Impact buying ROH. Let's discuss this, shall we? I don't see that really happening, because Impact definitely does have a little bit of an advantage, because earlier this week they announced that they have now partnered with Mark Cuban as well as Steve Harvey. So,
whoa, hang on.
Yep, you gotta look up the article. Literally, they said Anthem Wrestling has now partnered with Mark Cuban and Steve Harvey now. So they got some really good wrestling fans supporting them right now. So maybe now it actually is a believable deal, because when you think like, oh, well, just Impact Wrestling. Yeah, well, they're not going to be able to do it, because I don't think ROH is going to be able to, is going to be like, yeah, no, we're going to let you, take our stuff. They have Mark Cuban and Steve Harvey backing up. Wait, what? You mean the funniest man that ever lived and the guy who has like some of the best teams and all of tech? Okay, fair enough. He's also on Shark Tank. Oh, yeah. Okay. ROH might be in trouble.
Especially when Skrull leaves, like his contract's coming up in November.
Oh.
And who was that? Matt Taven, current ROH champion. Both of their contracts are up by the end of the year, I think. And many people think that that Taven's going to stay. But I'm indifferent. I mean, he wasn't my pick. He was in like a ROH title match, Mania weekend. I actually purchased that pay-per-view, and I don't normally purchase pay-per-views. Because that had a wicked six-man match. I think it had like Villain Enterprises, who I absolutely love. I mean, Skrull. Selfishly, this is a man I want in AEW. I just want to see one day the lights go out with Jericho. Jericho's in the ring, lights go out, and you just hear the piano music and a whoop whoop. Or you just see the lights go out, and you see the big-ass penguin mask and the umbrella. Smash Jericho with it, and there you go. There is your title feud for 2020. Bring on a bit of the bubbly.
Oh, man. Dude, no joke, you literally just gave me chills just thinking about that, because I can visualize that, and it's a beautiful sight. I want that now. And honestly, if his contract is up in November, which you've mentioned, it could be one of those things that could very likely happen. I do remember them doing like a mailbag deal at StarCast, and so one of the things that they asked was, one of the fans asked was like, who would you like to see, who is either contractor or free agent come to ROH, and they mentioned a couple names, but one of the names that didn't surprise anybody was that they mentioned Marty's name in there, so they could be in contract negotiations as we're speaking right now. And I think that him and Villain Enterprises and AEW would be great. You'd have another tag team, you have a faction involved in there. Why not just throw it in there? Let's actually create some kind of war within the system. I'm all for it. I want to see this.
Villains versus Dark Order, let's go.
Ooh, yes, I'd be okay with this. Also, we were talking a lot about these game-changing moments. Let's talk about a game-changer signing made by NXT, in which they signed Hijo de Fantasma. A lot of people know him as King Cuerno, has been signed on there. And how do I know this? Well, literally because my friend Max, Agent Cooper, or check him out on Twitter at Agent Blocked, he literally shares this with me, and he's just saying, yes, Nate, every fiber of my being. I see that. I'm like, okay, I could see why he is very excited and almost to the point of death. Because, King Cuerno, El Hijo de Fantasma, whatever you want to call him, he is a very talented guy. Great in the ring, has the mic skills. He's literally one of those guys I see as a major star and a major player. And I'm very curious to see how NXT is going to take them. Because obviously, when we had Andrade, we thought like, we're going to get the guy Lucha Libre. No, we got Andrade without the mask. We got him doing this kind of almost Chip and Dale-esque deal to start off with. Then he became one of the greatest things that ever happened in the history of mankind. Oh God, yes. So I'm kind of curious on what they're going to do with King Cuerno when he comes into the fold of NXT. He could even debut on the Wednesday episode. We don't know at this point, but I'm not going to rule out that possibility. And, there's just so much that could happen. Honestly, and especially with what I think Johnny Gargano, he addressed his future last night. I would love for him to have one more match in NXT where it's kind of like what they did with Sami Zayn and Shinsuke Nakamura. I kind of would love to see Johnny Wrestling taking on King Cuerno as his farewell match. Fight me on that. I want to see this. I legit want to see this.
Yeah, I just had to remind myself of King Cuerno because I watched the first 2 seasons of Lucha Underground and especially scrounged through them when they were on Netflix. Put them back, please. And he was very, very impressive. I think he was did he win the Gift of the Gods title?
Yeah, he was the first one, I think, to win the Gift of the Gods title off of the holder at that time, who was Phoenix. So
yes, okay, and I might be mistaken, but did he have a feud with Ricochet too?
You know what? Honestly, I would not be surprised if that was the case because Ricochet versus King Cuerno would scream ratings poll. Can you be serious? So I believe that did happen. I'm not like 100% confident in this, but I am pretty sure that it happened. All I remember from like the first few seasons is that they were building stuff up, that somehow Big Rick, a.k.a. Ezekiel Jackson, was somehow involved with this, but he did bring in the Mac and Kill Shot, which was awesome. And then also Mil Muertes was dominating the first part of Season 2. Because why the hell not? Let's just have him be legit like the champion of death.
Yeah, I have a whole bunch of gifts here. They definitely wrestled.
God, I want Mil Muertes in like a major promotion so badly. I really want to see that. With or without Katrina, I don't care. Just give me Mil Muertes on my TV, and I'll be happy. I'll be a happy, happy man. All right, so guys, we need to take a break from this right now because we have just been burnt out by so many of these game-changing deals. But when we come back, time to get predictions on Clash of the Champions, a.k.a. WWE's trying to basically milk it out and trying to remind us that, hey, WCW was still a thing. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you so much. But we'll be right back, you guys. Stay tuned.
What up, Ooses? This is DFDC Jeff Palmantrio of Not Your Mama Soap Opera, and you're listening to Wrestle Addict Radio.
Hey guys, this is NateFNGreat. Hey, have you ever wanted to be a champion but can't seem to really find the money and the time to get a championship belt? Well, you know who's a really good friend of mine? AJ from AJsBelts.com. These guys have a large assortment of championship belts, from classic belts to the modern day belts to championship belts you would not even believe. And guys, like I said, they work with you very well. With an awesome layaway program, there is no way that you can beat these guys' prices as well as these guys' deals, especially when you can give them a little bit of money every now and then until you can get that championship gold. Coming from a guy who's a champion and a game changer, I'm indeed NateFNGreat. I'm representing AJsBelts.com, proud friends of the Game Changer Podcast.
Buzz, buzz, guys. My name is Kate Murphy of the Kings of the Ring podcast, and you are listening to Wrestle Addict Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, could that be the theme music of the next King of the Ring? Odds are yes, but we will find out this Sunday, or actually will be, today when this is fully released. Either way, you guys, welcome back to the Game Changer Podcast. I'm NateFNGreat. He is Mr. Fretz, part of Wrestle Addict Radio. We've talked about these guys endlessly, and we will continue to talk about them because they are so awesome. Wrestle Addict Radio at addict_wrestle. See if I can try and talk now. Definitely check us out, the Game Changer Podcast, as well as the great people that we have over there, including the Kings of the Rings podcast, the Nacho Mama Soap Opera podcast, the Gifted podcast, and the Fourth Wall WrestleCast. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now finally time to talk about Clash of Champions as well as give our predictions. Alright, so we got about 11 matches, I believe, that are put on here. Actually, honestly, it's not really a bad card. It's just how they deliver it is what's going to concern me about this entire event. But we're going to see what happens. Every single championship is on the line, including... oh, wow. That's kind of that's actually crazy now that I see that. Every title is on the line, and there's only one regular match on this entire card, which I'm hoping, fingers crossed, is on the pre-show. So I'm going to basically list this off as if it were how I would write it. We'll start with the pre-show matchup. Roman Reigns versus Eric Rowan in a no disqualification matchup. Honestly, I thought I was going to hate this matchup, but this past Tuesday, they made me care about it. The way that Eric Rowan has been booked has been honestly surprising. Not only that, but the way that they made him manhandle Roman Reigns makes you look at it and think, wow, okay, they're making him into a legit threat. I kind of am interested in seeing where this is going. Now the question is, who comes out victorious in this matchup? Do we see Roman Reigns continue his winning streak of just, being Roman Reigns, or do we see an upset victory here by Eric Rowan? Mr. Fretz, I will have you start this prediction off. Who have you got and why?
The big dog. I think just because this feud, I think it already sucks. I mean, it's as soon as that friggin' Highlander, guy from the Highlanders came in and
I know who you're talking about.
was Eric Rowan, and they're just like, I'm like, I could tell they're trying not to bust a gut laughing because that was so stupid.
Dumb.
Yeah, I think Roman's going to come out on top here. If Rowan wins, it'll be like interference or like Daniel. Oh wait, no, Daniel Bryan and them broke. No. If I have a feeling that Daniel Bryan might even get involved here with something, but no. The big dog's going to come out on top and move on to something worthwhile.
Hopefully we'll get that feud with Daniel Bryan that we were hoping for, but they decided, let's sidetrack it. Yeah, so I'm in agreement with you. I think that Roman Reigns is going to pick up the victory here. It is going to probably build up to a match between Roman and Bryan at Hell in the Cell. I think that this is where it's going to all, quote-unquote, culminate. But honestly, I'm expecting this to be a very physical matchup. Is it going to be like a technical masterpiece? No, definitely not. But is it going to be a good one? I think it is. I think it's going to be one of those matches that'll get you kind of spine kind of cringing, but also kind of thinking, okay, we're seeing Eric Rowan actually putting on a really good matchup here. So this could be Eric Rowan's breakout match for all we know. I will only accept an Eric Rowan victory if Luke Harper comes out. I know it's very unlikely that's going to happen, but that's the only way I'll accept it.
Yes.
Next up, we have a triple threat matchup for the Cruiserweight Championship matchup, in which we have Drew Gulak defending against Humberto Carrillo, as well as Lince Dorado. So literally, this is one of those very, I guess you could say, very, a very, very cultural matchup, we'll say, at this point. I'm going with Drew Gulak. I highly doubt that they're going to have him lose the title to one of these two guys. And honestly, it's going to be crazy because with them having rumors of canceling 205 Live, I'm very curious to see where the Cruiserweight division goes from here. Maybe they'll be put on SmackDown. Maybe they'll go to NXT. Who knows at this point? But I'm very interested in seeing it. I think that this matchup is going to be really, really good. So I'm picking Drew Gulak for this one. Drew Gulak to retain.
Same here. I'm picking Gulak, and I'm just going to fantasy booker assume here that maybe we'll see that roster kind of absolve into both NXT brands. Personally, I would like to see it in NXT. That way, we would get that. We could potentially get another awesome match. You know, the Catch Point reunion between Drew Gulak and Matt Riddle, because at the Evolve special that was on the network earlier this year, more of that, please. And also more of Gulak versus Kushida, because they had a barn burner at a recent Evolve match as well. Oh, speaking of Kushida, he was on 205 Live this week as a mystery tag team partner of Jack Gallagher against Tozawa and Kendrick.
Wow, nice. So there could be a chance that Kushida's going to 205 Live, or maybe he's joining with the Cruiserweight division. Who knows at this point? But either way, I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what happens. And also, be sure to keep posted, you guys. We'll try to keep things going and see that you guys know what's going on with 205 Live. We'll find out probably later on in the week. But up next here, we have the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship matchup. Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross taking on Fire and Desire, Mandy Rose, and Sonya Deville. This is one of those few tag team matches I'm really interested and also kind of looking forward to, because they have actually been building up Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville pretty well. And also this past week, we got to see the Nikki Cross that we know and love make a comeback, and it was amazing. Where basically Mandy's just like, oh, well, I'm sexy. Oh, Nikki, you're ugly. And then we just see Nikki Cross not even hesitate. She just runs right down to the ring and goes absolute batshit crazy on Mandy. Oh my God, I am in love again. So, Mr. Fretz, who have you got for this one?
Okay, first off, who the shit wrote that promo on Tuesday? That was terrible. Oh, you're ugly. First off, Nikki Cross is hot. Second, you're going to talk about bullying and body image. Tuesday was World Suicide Prevention Day. That doesn't make you look good if you're doing that fucking shit on that day of all days. But there's only one thing I want right now, and that is... They're not going to win, though. They're not going to win, but... I love Mandy, but no. I think the women's tag titles are going to stay on the odd couple here for a little bit longer. A little bit. And maybe Fire and Desire win it on SmackDown in a couple of weeks, but... Yeah, after that promo, it's like, yeah, Nikki's got to get her heat back. And eventually, when Alexa Bliss turns on her, because it's happening, Alexa Bliss is a way better heel. Or what is she right now? She's a tweener? Yeah,
something like that.
But I'm intrigued. I am intrigued. If they can get rid of this mean girl shit, I think this can have a tendency to be something special. And then maybe if there's dissension among Fire and Desire, Sonya Deville breaks out on her own. Sonya Deville versus Bayley versus... yeah, okay. There's a title feud I want to see.
You kind of took the words right out of my mouth. And this is kind of one of those matches I'm a little torn at, because They could go in the direction of having Mandy and Sonya pick up the titles because they are an established team for quite some time. But at the same time, I do agree with you that I do believe that Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross are going to hold the titles just a little bit longer, and maybe they'll drop the belts, say around the time that they go to Fox. I think that might be the best time to do it. I think it'd be the best time to have a heel turn for Alexa Bliss. I think that it would be better just to have those kind of moments saved for a huge event. I'm not saying that Clash of Champions is not a huge event. Okay, I'm not saying Clash of Champions is a huge event. I'm saying that literally the change to Fox is a bigger event than this pay-per-view right here. So yeah, I agree with you. I'm going with Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross on this one. We go into another tag team matchup here in which we have the SmackDown tag team titles, the New Day defending against the Revival. Ladies and gentlemen, I truly believe that this is going to be a match where we see the Revival pick up the victory and pick up the straps here. I think that the New Day have held their titles on for long enough. I do believe that it's time to move on to something different and have a new team built up to take down the Revival. So, Revival wins the SmackDown tag team titles. That is my stone cold pick for this one. Who have you got, Mr. Fretz?
It's time for the Revival to get some titles back and get some credibility back because they have been booked into the ground despite having a couple of tag title runs this year. I think they can just rule the SmackDown tag division. Please put them in a feud with Heavy Machinery. Hell, you know what? I want to see a TV match between the Revival and the Colognes. Because if you let them just go out and wrestle, they could put on a friggin' barn burner. The New Day hasn't been even on TV in a while, which makes me suspect that they're actually going to retain here somehow. But I'm going with my heart, and I gotta go with my Southern boys, despite the fact I live in the North.
Hey, fair enough. No, I totally agree with that. Up next, we have the United States Championship matchup. AJ Styles taking on Cedric Alexander, who I do believe Cedric has a couple of victories over AJ Styles. So this is kind of one of those matches where it could heavily be put as Cedric Alexander picking up the victory here. Unfortunately, I do not see that happening. I think AJ Styles is going to retain.
Yeah, ditto. I think this is going to be a good coming out party for Cedric, and they're going to put on a very good match because Cedric Alexander is, I think he's criminally underrated. Like when I saw him in the 205 Live division, I wasn't big into him in 205 Live because I was who did he beat for the title? Neville? No, was it after Neville left? No, I think he won the vacant. It was like the vacant title at WrestleMania. But I
guess
was
Mustafa.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Because I was a big Neville guy when he was in the 205 division, and of course that was before He Who Should Not Be Named won that title. Cedric, AJ. Yeah. Good match, but AJ's going to retain here. I think the club's probably going to get involved.
No, I could definitely see that too. It's evident. And honestly, this could also be a pre-show matchup, the club versus the Viking Raiders, which I'd be okay with. I think that'd be a really good matchup. But, again, it's going to get delegated probably to the pre-show if that's the case. But we won't kind of go into that until it probably happens. So, next match we have on here is the Intercontinental title matchup in which we have Shinsuke Nakamura defending against The Miz. Mr. Fretz, who have you got and why?
I hate that I'm picking this, but I think it's The Miz.
Really?
I think the Miz is taking it here. I'm not a firm believer in 50-50 booking. Like this week on SmackDown, he was taken out with the Becky and Sasha. The Intercontinental title, I don't think has been prominent since, The Miz held it. I mean, I don't like the guy, but he's been a very credible Intercontinental champion. I think he's been really good at bringing that title to prominence. So, if you get him, for the love of God, turn him heel. please turn the Miz heel. Nakamura, that's one guy I think it could go. When is his contract up? Because I think he's just not been used. Like, he should have been the WWE champion by now. Go back to New Japan.
No, I do agree with that statement. Although, I will say that my prediction is different, in which I'm going with Shinsuke Nakamura. I think that they just did this whole Sami Zayn and Nakamura deal, so I just do not see them breaking up the duo yet, and I don't see Sami Zayn actually costing Nakamura the matchup. So I think that I do agree with you, and I think that Miz is going to actually help Nakamura get that get that recognition that he deserves, and he's finally going to make that title look like something amazing again. I just think that Nakamura is going to hold on to it maybe just a little bit longer, and perhaps we could probably see some kind of matchup. Ooh, oh man, I kind of just had a little bit of a tingle here. If they rebuild if they're doing like that whole champion versus champion matchup for like Survivor Series, can you imagine Nakamura versus AJ this time around in Survivor Series?
Okay, yes, but I'm changing my prediction.
although we could also get the Miz versus AJ Styles at Survivor Series, though.
The Miz versus Cedric.
So honestly, this could go either way, but we still have to go through one more event. So, yeah, I'm going with Nakamura. You still stick with Miz, or are you changing to Nakamura?
No, I'm gonna stick with the Miz.
All right, fair enough.
I got a funny feeling.
I got a feeling. Nope. That tonight is not going to be a good night, especially if your name is. Especially if your name is Bayley, who will be challenging the hometown girl Charlotte Flair, and it'll be Charlotte Flair is going to be challenging for the SmackDown Women's title. Bayley. Yep, got that correct now. So for this matchup, oh boy, like I said, I like the build-up. I kind of like the fact that this matchup is happening. I think it's going to be an incredible matchup. Just for the love of God, don't let it be Cena Bayley all over again like they did at SummerSlam. That would just suck. And like I said, if they're going to have Bayley do like a submission, have her do the same submission she did to Sasha at TakeOver Respect, where she's literally got her body twisted up and she's kicking at her head. Let that be a finish. I'd be okay with that. And honestly, maybe she kicks Charlotte's head to the point where it looks like Charlotte is actually saying yes. That would be a good way to get heel heat. Oh my God. You're welcome, WWE. Booking right there. Yeah, I'm going with Bayley. I really would much rather see Charlotte pick up the victory, but we've seen the track record for people who go into their hometowns and have title matches. It's not that good. The track record's not that good. Bayley's retaining.
Hey, I'm picking Bayley. Ooh, because Hell in the Cell is in San Jose.
Oh, didn't even consider that.
There we go. Dewey Foley, are you listening to us right now? Hey, Pritchard, chat me up.
Chat me up.
Chat me up. Hey, Jim Cornette, what do you think about that? She's a heel, motherfucker.
Oh, man.
Some extra mayo.
Oh, my God. That's amazing. Oh, man. Impressions by Mr. Fretz, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to Bruce, Dewey, and James E. Cornette. A.K.a. Brian Zayn's illegitimate father, or something like that. Whatever it is. We don't know at this point.
Yeah, welcome to Wrestling with Regret. I'm Brian Zayn, King of the Ring. I gotta finish the King of the Ring 95 shit after this.
Oh, my God. I kind of have to, too. God, we're on the same wavelength. It's sad. All right. Go into the Raw Women's title matchup. Sasha Banks is challenging the man, Becky Lynch. I think that you gave your prediction a little bit early, but I think we need to reiterate it, though. Mr. Fretz, is it boss time?
It's boss time. Sasha Banks is winning, and I think we might see Bayley get involved in this match. I think there's going to be a bit of a with both of them, and they'll both help each other win. They'll rule the division, but if Survivor Series is doing champion versus champion again, and Nate's dead, folks. I guess I have to take the rest of this show. Sasha Banks and Bayley at Survivor Series, because I think this quasi-heel turn might be short-lived if they do this, or it might be like a quote-unquote respect match between besties, and then afterwards they go for the handshake and wham! So, yeah, Banks, I love me some Becky, but it's boss time, and it's time for a title switch.
I'm going with Becky. I still think that she's got a little more juice left in her. I think she might even hold the title all the way until WrestleMania, where we see the rematch between her and Rousey.
Oh.
I could see that happening, but I would accept a Sasha Banks title win if we get that at Survivor Series. Then it's like, okay, she holds the title until maybe Royal Rumble or something like that. Then she drops it back to Becky. We get the build-up between Becky and Ronda. I'd be okay with that. But for right now, I'm sticking with my girl Becky. She can do me no wrong. Except for the fact that she's engaged to Seth Rollins. Hey-yo! Oh, man. So, next up, we have the WWE Championship matchup in which we have Kofi Kingston versus Randy Orton, the Viper, the stupid caller. I will say this. I did love the fact that they did do a callback at Madison Square Garden this past week to what was a defining moment in Kofi Kingston's career. The boom drop onto the table to Randy Orton. That was beautiful. I loved it. And then they tried to recreate it. Not as amazing, but it's still one of those things where it's like, you know what? They've recreated history. It's fine. I'm okay with this. I still say Kofi's retaining. I think that they're going to hold on to the title switch for him until SmackDown goes to Fox. And I think that maybe Brock takes the title off of him. As much as people are going to hate it, as much as they're going to hate it, I think it's going to happen. And I think it's going to be a shock on that episode. You got to have some kind of shock value deal. I do not see Randy Orton picking up the victory here. He's definitely got an advantage. He's definitely got a mental game going into this, but I do not see Randy Orton winning the title here tonight at the Clash of Champions. Kofi for the win. Mr. Fretz, you're up.
This is where Brock Lesnar should have cashed in.
Ooh.
Now I'm getting sad. Oh, stupid. Okay, Kofi's retaining. Kofi is absolutely retaining. There's no way on this planet, galaxy, or dimension that Randy Orton should have another run with the title. I think that he's at the point in his career where I think he can be putting people over. Even though he's not that much older than Kofi, I don't think that doesn't really matter because Kofi should have been in this position like 10 years ago. And much like Mr. Kennedy, Randy Orton bumped that down. So, yeah, Kofi. Although if I had to book Kofi's title loss, heel Big E, I mean, that's just me fantasy booking, but Brock.
Yeah.
If you're going to start off Fox with a bang, you might as well start it with a beast. But then WrestleMania. How do we go to WrestleMania? With I don't want to get into it because I don't know.
Major fantasy booking. Matt Riddle wins the Royal Rumble, challenges Brock Lesnar, retires Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, wins the WWE title. My major fantasy booking right there. It's a huge fantasy, but if they make it a reality, that'd be amazing. He could be like the first NXT guy to win the Royal Rumble, and I'd be okay with it. But again, that's just me. We still got 2 more matches to go, and they are the matches that probably are the least excited for. As far as this card goes, we have Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman teaming up to defend the Raw Tag Team titles against Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler. How much do I care about this matchup? Literally none, even with my boy Bobby Roode. Seth and Braun are retaining. I don't care. I really don't care about this matchup.
Rudolph, we're going to see new tag team champions. We're going to see dissension that leads into their match. Team Rudolph all the way, man.
Damn. All right. And then we get into the main event. Before we do, we have to talk about Yowie Wowie, Stranger Danger, the Firefly Funhouse episode. Oh, man. The Firefly Funhouse episode this past week was amazing. Jeez. They had a mention about Stone Cold, which I will say this. I'm pissed that they didn't do this because Rachel and Kayla were both hoping that this was going to happen, that we were going to see The Fiend come out and attack Stone Cold Steve Austin, or even attacks The Undertaker. None of those happened. Instead, we had Stone Cold stun AJ Styles, which was awesome. They had a beer bash at the end of the show, which was great. Undertaker chokeslams Sami Zayn. I'm actually okay with this. I'm actually totally fine with Sami Zayn literally just getting his life choked out of him and then slammed to the ground. That was awesome. Also, Sami Zayn versus Undertaker, if you would please. But Firefly Funhouse ended with Mr. Bray saying, "See you in hell!" To which we already know it's going to be The Fiend challenging for the Universal title. Who is going to be the champion? That's what we find out here. Seth Rollins versus Braun Strowman. There's no way in hell that they're going to have this be a no contest because that would just be stupid. So I do see Seth Rollins retaining by maybe underhanded tactics at this point, because I could see him being more the heel at this point. And The Fiend comes out, attacks Seth. We get the setup for Hell in the Cell. Boom.
I'm booking a no contest.
You're booking a no contest?
I'm booking a no contest. Maybe they'll both take a bump, and then, the whatever that sound's supposed to be, and maybe he attacks them both. Maybe we get a triple threat.
I mean, it would be a safe way to keep The Fiend strong, sort of. But at the same time, I just want Seth Rollins versus Fiend, and I want The Fiend as my champion. That's all I want. That's all I want at this point.
Yeah. I was thinking no contest for a second, but I'm just okay. No, Seth.
All right. So, guys, those are our Stone Cold picks for the Clash of Champions event. Whew, boy howdy. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say more than that. Okay, so I'll definitely talk about this because I talk a lot about, independent wrestling shows that I go to here in Wisconsin. So this past weekend, there was another one. It was literally one of those things where it's like, okay, going to All Out, follow that up with this ACW show in Wisconsin. Matches were very well done. Loved everything they did. I will also say that the matchup that definitely kind of hit me most was the main event. Because here's this guy, Salem Crane, that I've talked about on the show, where he basically, he's got his deal with his jacket. It didn't happen this time around, which, for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, definitely check out previous episodes where I talk about how I step on his jacket, and this is like a little mini feud between him and me. Salem Crane took on Raging Dead Nathan Gust. The match starts off with literally Salem attacking the referee, knocking him out. And it's very crucial that I mention that the referee does play a key part of this entire night as well as this entire event. The match just basically turns into like a street fight where they're just fighting each other. They're using chairs. They're using, everything that they can but the kitchen sink, beating each other down. We see Gus try to wake up the referee, Mr. TJ, and we see what looks like is going to be a spot where Salem Crane is going to just beat down and beat Nathan Gust, but the referee TJ just grabs him, hits him with the chair, and then we see TJ, the referee, hit a stunner on Salem Crane. It was amazing. Nathan Gus would pick up the victory in the end, and it got to be very emotional. Before I get into that, I will say this, that Salem Crane, he's out of the ring. He is just basically getting berated by fans that are nearby. And he's passing by my area. So literally, Max is there. He gave his chair to Nathan Gus to use on Salem Crane. It was funny. But then there's like this deal where Sam Crane's just like, I don't give a fuck about your chair. About not giving his chair back.
I don't give a fuck about your kids.
Oh my god, it was just so funny. So he's berating him, and literally Salem Crane and I, we have that little face-off, we have the little deal where I'm just yelling and berating him, and he's just saying to me, I hate you. I fucking hate you so much. It's just so funny. Oh, man. So we have that, and then I have to transition into the sad part, because after this match was over, we see Nathan Gus leave the ring, and he leaves the ring for TJ. The ring announcer made the announcement that on that night would be referee TJ Bull's last night as a referee in ACW. So literally, we had a point where it had a shock value as well as an emotional moment, because I've met with TJ, I've hung out with TJ. He is legit one of the nicest people that I have ever met. He's one of the coolest people I've ever met. Oh my gosh. I always love talking to him. I also love giving him Subway gift cards, because there's a story about him loving sandwiches. It's so funny. I will say this, I don't do it justice. If you ever get a chance, definitely hit up my good friend at Smart Money Podcast, AJ Jensen. He'll definitely tell you what goes on with the whole sandwich deal. It's so funny. But yeah, we see a bunch of the guys come out into the ring. They're applauding him. We're doing like a thank you Cheese J chant. He gets past like this little ACW like plaque, and it's got all the signatures from all the wrestlers. It's really cool. He gets hugs from all the wrestlers, including Swoggle, who is one of the managers for the event. Just really awesome. So TJ, again, thank you, man. I know this is not goodbye. This is just ta-ta for now, my good sir. The show also ended with a contract signing, with Colucci and Logan Lynch signing on the dotted line for the ACW title matchup. Oh, that matchup's going to be so good. And I will be there in attendance in the front row. Oh, I'm looking forward to that matchup. I literally told Colucci, I said, dude, I'm going to be there front row cheering for you, because I do believe you're going to be the next champ. And of course, Colucci just says, oh, thanks, man. So, oh, geez, I'm looking forward to that matchup. It's going to be awesome. So, again, if you get a chance, you guys, go support your independent wrestling organizations. Definitely check them out. Give them a chance. They have definitely provided excellent entertainment, and they have also will provide you with just fantastic wrestling. It's just really awesome, and I always love the fact that we get the chance to be a part of history and be a part of so much as fans or even as sponsors, which I am very proud to announce that we are indeed going to be sponsoring the ACW Night of the Legends event on October 6th. It is going to be absolutely awesome. We have Ted DiBiase is going to be there. Midnight Express is going to be there, as well as Arn Anderson, Double A. Oh, that is just going to be an absolutely fun, fantastic event. So definitely, you guys, check that out. If you live in Wisconsin, definitely check that out. And tickets are running out, you guys. You definitely need to purchase your tickets, because that event is planning to be sold out. It's going to be an absolutely awesome event for sure. All right. So with that being said, Mr. Fretz, do you have anything to add on? Anything crazy that happened with you in the last week?
No, just a whole bunch of work, man. I'm gonna pre-download NHL 20 because it launches at midnight. So that's about my excitement. Next Saturday, my brother's getting married.
Woo!
Yeah. Him and Stacy have been together for about a decade now, but I think they wanted to wait until the kids were old enough to walk down the aisle as ring bearer, or whatever the little girl version of that is. And
Flower girl. What that is. Flower girl, man.
What?
Flower girl, man.
Flower girl, thank you. My God. Oh. I gotta stay away from the bubbly.
A little bit of the bubbly.
So, I'm debating whether I can actually podcast next week. We'll have to talk about that off there. And
yes.
possible, I'm getting all these legends, and I'm like, I might have a request for you that I'll also have off there, and I want to go to one of these shows one of these days. Like, maybe I'll see if I can fly out for, like, Water City WrestleCon some year, depending on when it is. So
that'd be good.
There's no indie wrestling. The closest to me is fucking Toronto, and that's a 3-hour drive. And no offense, if I'm making a 3-hour drive, I'm going to SummerSlam or something like that. Apparently, there's something. I might even have this. Yeah, this is great audio content, folks. I had a wrestling company business card out of, I think, Hamilton, which is about maybe 2 hours outside of here. I think it was like try something wrestling from that. But apparently, there's something maybe in Hanover, Ontario, but I haven't been able to find any indie wrestling close to here. My dream is someday, that Sauble Sandfest, where we have that run annually.
Mm-hmm.
Well, usually we'll have we have a grandstand, we'll have bands playing and whatnot. And one year, if I can swing it, I want to get wrestling on Sauble Beach, get a wrestling ring on the beach, right by the water.
Beach Brawl. It's like Canadian Wrestling presents Beach Brawl.
Yeah, Fretzlemania presents something.
Something.
Yeah, that's just a pipe dream. And if I could get that done, I always want to stand in the ring and do a friggin' what's that guy's name? Do like a Ricardo Rodriguez deal. Just introduce a guy like that. Just once.
Oh,
and
my
I
God.
pose on the ropes, like, here, throw me a beer.
Right.
And then I can just collapse and die happy in the ring.
Oh, man, that'd be fantastic. My God. I'd be down for that. So, ladies and gentlemen,
I was just going to cheap plug Fretzlemania. I had a show this week. I'm going to get something next week. I might even go back into the archives and do a blog like I did before, or I might just do my own review of AEW. We'll have to wait and see. So, FRETZLE Mania, everywhere podcasts can be heard. If anyone has the app Podcoin, you can listen on there, and just hit me up if you want details about that. I'm not going to put them into Wrestle Addict Radio. So
there we go. So, well, that's nothing like Bitcoin, right?
It's not quite that. It's just you get. What happens is if you listen for 10 minutes, you get one thing, and you can get gift cards with it. It's like Warren Hayes from Fightful.
Okay.
He had me onto it earlier this year. I'm not going to use any of it. I'm just like, I actually haven't used it. It's helping getting more listeners. That's all it's really doing for me.
Oh, okay. I got you now. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap it up for this edition of the Game Changer Podcast. Of course, a part of Wrestle Addict Radio. We mentioned them once. We'll mention them again. King of the Ring, Not Your Mama Soap Opera Podcast, the Gifted Podcast, as well as the Fourth Wall WrestleCast. Definitely check those guys out. They are absolutely entertaining. They're absolutely a lot of fun. Just absolutely enjoy everything. Thank you, Mr. Wade, for being our podcast, colleague of the week, for using the hashtag ProTalkWrestling. And guys, you want to be a part of the show next week? Definitely tag us and use the hashtag ProTalkWrestling in your tweets, and we will definitely have you shouted out on the next episode of the Game Changer Podcast. So for Mr. Fretz, I've been Nate, NateFNGreat. You can check us out on Twitter, Mr. Fretz at the legendary JF, myself at Real Effin' Game, Wrestle Addict Radio, Addict_Wrestle. You can also check us out on our Facebook fan pages, on Instagram. You can also check us out on our Patreon, ladies and gentlemen. It's only $5. You heard that right. $5 foot. No, not that. Yes, I was about to do a little out-of-date reference to a Subway commercial. So sue me. It's only $5 to be a part of it. Check out all the great content, including Mr. Fretz's stuff, as well as Mr. Jeff Pamaccio. He's got a lot of great stuff that's going to be happening in the Patreon deal, so definitely check that out. Guys, again, Game Changer Podcast is going to be a sponsor for the Night of Legends. So that is going to be something we're looking forward to in the month of October. We also have another show that's going to be coming up in November, I believe it was. I believe it's a Frontline Pro event in which they have already scheduled for this event Rob Van Dam. That's going to be an awesome show, to say the least. So definitely, if you're in the Stevens Point area, definitely get a chance to listen in on all the details. It is going to be an absolutely awesome card, to say the least. With that, for Mr. Fretz, I've been NateFNGreat. You can check us out on so many podcasting medium forums, including right here on Spreaker.com, as well as on iTunes. Thank you guys so much, and we'll talk to you guys in the next episode. It's time to play the game, and it's time to see who will be the next King of the Ring. See you. Oh, God damn it.
The one night that we wait for, when it's all put on the line. We all striving to reach the top and be the champion this time.
I'm gonna be a champion. Yeah, I got what it takes. Risk it all, make my own fate. Yeah, I'm gonna be a champion. All the glory and the fame, jet setting in my own plane. I'm gonna be a champion. Silhouettes in the spotlight, cash falling from the sky. Yeah, I'm gonna be a champion. All it takes is one night for me to turn around my whole life. Say it's easy coming up and trying to be the best. I'm calling bluff, you looking tired, man, you need a rest. You trying to graduate ahead of class, cheat the test. Homie, I ain't even trying, I just be the best. Championship rings, yeah, I got a few. Gold medal, first place, what I gotta do. Hard work, dedication, never quitting, now you looking at a champion. I'm gonna be a champion. Yeah, I got what it takes, risk it all,